This is the story of Bond's Ranch, not just Pete Bonds, because if you want to know about Pete Bonds, you have to hear about where Bond's Ranch began and where it has come. You have to talk about the man who started it, the cowboy who managed it, and the women who have and will continue it in order to understand the man who built it. My grandfather, P.R. Bonds, or Bob, started Bonds Ranch by purchasing part of the Charlie and Mary Hicks Ranch located 13 miles north of Fort Worth in 1933. Bob was born in 1891 in Nocona, Texas. After returning home from World War I, he went to work in the oil fields of Texas. My grandmother, Betty, married my grandfather in 1940, and they had 2 children. My Uncle Jay came along first, and my dad followed 11 years later. Bob wasn't a cowman, though. He had to trust others to take care of the ranch. So Bob and Betty hired Owen J. Burnett, or Big Pete as he was known, in 1945 as ranch manager. Under his guidance, the ranch had a regular presence at the Fort Worth stockyards and became known for its prize-winning Hereford cattle. He took both my uncle and dad to the stockyards to sell cattle and to learn from the old cattle traders. In 1954, when my dad was 2, Bob died of a stroke. Betty took over the management of the ranch and the oil business and began to spend more time at the ranch with Dad. It was then that Big Pete solidified his biggest legacy on the ranch, his relationship with my dad. Big Pete was a true cowboy. Dad said he could make a good cow horse out of even the stubborn of mules. They would sit together in the afternoons on the porch with a glass of iced tea, and Big Pete would tell stories of his cousin Burke Burnett and friends like Charles Goodnight about the history of Texas and ranching. Big Pete made certain that Dad was cowboy enough to ride the toughest bronc and gentlemanly enough to treat everyone with respect. He taught him the value of hard work and that the most important word in the English language was why. They were quite the inseparable pair, so much so that they were called Big Pete and Little Pete. When my dad was 18, Big Pete handed the reins of Bonds Ranch over to him, and he's been general manager ever since. He studied business at Texas Christian University and graduated from the TC Ranch Management program, all the while managing the ranch at home. TC Ranch Management opened my dad's eyes to other segments of the industry and gave him the vision to grow the ranch from a 400-head cow-calf herd. He diversified the cow-calf genetics and marketing programs and added stockers and a feeding operation by the 1980s. And by the new millennium, Dad said that by focusing not just on profitability, but also on return on equity, it was like throwing a snowball off of Mount Everest. And Bonds Ranch now operates all throughout Texas, from Bonham to Seminole and from Canadian to Rio Grande City, as well as in many other states in the U.S. With everything he has built, he has to spend more time in the office now, where he's on the road checking cattle. But Dad is still the best cowboy I've ever known. My mom, Jo, married my dad in 1976. Her first love was dancing and has taught ballet to the children of our community since they married. Mom worked in the office after they married, but didn't learn to ride until after I was born. But she's always been by my dad's side, working right along with him. It's serendipity when a gruff cowboy like my dad has 3 girls. Dad said he raised us the only way he knew how, as boys, to work on the ranch. In 1978, the year my sister Missy was born, every single one of our mares had fillies. And for my dad, the fillies kept coming too. First Missy, then Bonnie, and finally me. Dad instilled that same love of ranching in each of us, and now we have followed in Dad's rather big cowboy boots as ranchers and are ensuring the future of Bonds Ranch. My dad isn't one to tote all the awards and honors and accolades he's achieved over the years, and there have been quite a few, like serving as president of Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association, or winning the Beef Magazine Stalker of the Year award. He won't tell you about how he was named the Outstanding TC Ranch Management Alumnus in 2006, or even how he won the first American Quarter Horse Association World Championship in amateur team penning. But there is one thing he is very proud of. It's that Bonds Ranch is not just a family business, but it is a business of many families. We couldn't be who we are without the cowboys who partnered with us, worked with us, and neighbored with us over the years. I asked my dad once what he wanted his legacy to be. He said it was to have helped ensure the future of ranching through young people. He wanted to inspire and support young people who are willing to work hard with the opportunity to ranch and to be successful at it. My dad always told us this business has been good to our family, so it's important to give back. He first got involved with the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers and National Cattlemen's Beef Association to learn more about the industry, to make connections, and to help grow our business. But one day his involvement wasn't about our ranch or us. It was about ensuring there was a future of ranching for everyone. The Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame welcomes 2017 inductee Pete Bonds.